Are you struggling on the new events challenge mode? I did manage to hit 16,000k, which is 16 million, with a pure epic team. This is just a bit more of an accessible team to hit one of the highest scores if you are already struggling. Hello and welcome to another Watcher of Realms video. As I said in the introduction, this video is going to be going over the new event. The Witcher's Call has got a challenge mode, and it is fun. We did have this in a previous event. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was the Pope as the actual enemy. And as you can see, I did manage to get some extra stuff done here. If we go into challenge modes, you have to hit up to 40,000k, 40 million, and you'll get the top reward. It is actually quite difficult to hit this. If we go into the rankings, people are only getting 60 mil, so it's only slightly higher. If the worst person in the top 100 is going to be below 50 mil. So it isn't easy, but you can obviously hit it with some legendaries, some nice characters. But some people haven't got massive amounts of legendaries. I managed to hit the 16 million with this team right here. Quite an accessible team to a certain extent. 2 characters from recent Shard events. This is probably the hardest character to come by. Esme is in actually the current store, so you could get her in there. I think you can prioritize her if you do like get the early rewards quite quickly. The rest of them are reasonably easier to come by, but you can be really unlucky. I've heard someone recently say they did over 2,000 summons and they have not got a Laurel yet. It can be like that. I don't really use Laurel other than to use her for invigoration, and the same with Dolores. I only do invigoration on these characters just to boost the stats of a couple of my damage dealers. I'll just quickly show you how I did it, and we'll hopefully get 16 million score again on this test run through. So as I start it, what I want to do is I want to decide which characters I actually want to give the invigoration buffs to. My biggest damage dealers here are Esme. We also have, I can never remember her name, Iona. She's very rare. It took me a long time to get her, but she's quite rare. If you have any AoE mage or any AoE character, it will 100% work better than her. You could even use this character here who isn't got a primary spot on this team. Is more of a sitting in the kind of wings as a backup just in case things go wrong. And the other damage dealers are going to be this character right here and this character right here. So it's 4 characters: Rourke, AI or I, Iona, and Esme. So you just want to use your invigorations on those characters. You should probably have invigoration on both your healers and then both the extra characters who you just place for invigoration and then just remove them. I'll just show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put Esme up nice and close to the portal on the right hand side, and then right behind her I'm going to put AI here, and then I will invigorate. I don't care which one it invigorates because I'll invigorate the other one with the next person I put down. But the reason I put down Laurel here is because I'll instantly get AI her ultimate and just get that ball rolling, because that is quite a slow roll. And then we'll just invigorate both of these characters. You can see they've both got their buff here and here, which is just nice. And on the left hand side we are going to buff Iona, and I'll do it with Dolores, and then we'll sell her. I'll put Rourke down in the middle, and I think I've got the right set on this character. Let's see, I don't have the right set on this character, so we're not going to actually get it off on him. And that's pretty much the setup. Now this character can go wherever you think there's a weakness, a right side and left side. You just have to make sure that they can pretty much hit across. So I kind of did this because they can't hit. I haven't got enough characters to hit the front. If you want to use Volker, you can use Volker behind Rourke, and that's absolutely fine. And then you can just do automatic ultimates on this early stage. You could pretty much do it for the whole fight. Just make sure you pop her ultimate periodically, because it won't happen unless people need to be healed, and then just ×2. We'll blitz through this and we'll get to the buffs. And those are the key parts, because there's a couple of buffs that are going to come up that are going to be required, because there's going to be some mages that come out of these portals, as you probably noticed, that absolutely annihilate your characters. Absolutely destroy them. Now, this team is mainly based on doing ultimates as quickly as possible, so I'm going to do rage regen. I have got poisons going down from Esme, so I could do extra poisons, but it's not consistent enough, and I'm going to be able to get Soul Blight again. Rage regen is just nice, just to get those ultimates to happen as often as possible. And we'll get to the next buff. The early stages are not too difficult. As you can see, I is just constantly putting down the icicles, which is really important, honestly, because you get overloaded on this right-hand side. But the freezes come in and it obviously adds damage, so it's quite nice. And it keeps them just close to the portal, which is good. Okay, so the second buff. Now, it might be like, oh, look at this. This is great. We can get this big one. But it is actually a good one because inflicting burning is actually quite good. Every 30 seconds. That's actually a really good one as well. We kind of need one of these. And then each basic attack restores HP. That isn't, I wouldn't say that isn't not important. So we're either going to go for damage or durability. It's pretty much obvious. We'll go for a bit of damage. Try and get the earlier waves out of the way. If you inflict damage over time on enemies, we will, you can see it all burning. It will debuff them, which is nice. And you're going to see just... we melt through these, no pun intended, melt through these waves. And you can obviously just keep, you can do this as many times as you want to try and get the nicest buff possible for yourself. So massive attack speed looks quite good. Healing, I wouldn't say is that important. Damage taken from, this is going to affect all of my characters who are over 75%. 200 attack speed is good. I'm not using my best gear on these characters on purpose. I'm using pretty decent gear, but not like my best sets, just so it was like a bit more accurate. It'll still be very tough, guys. It's not going to be easy, but you'll be able to get the higher rewards this way at least, and you can replace a lot of these characters. You know, if you've got Kamet, put Kamet instead of AI, or I always call it AI, but you can put Kamet instead of I. I would say the key character is like Greed, Hollow, and like an AoE mage. We're very key. Okay, next up, we can... this is only going to be if we dodge, and we don't have any dodge just yet, really. Inflicted with bleed. And we are inflicting burning. So when a monster is inflicted with burning, inflicts 40% vulnerability to magic damage, which is good because we've got at least 2 magic damage dealers, 1 on each side. We've actually got greed as well, so the damage shouldn't be too bad. We'll get to a point where we're going to take way too much damage, because the mages coming through are going to really damage Esme and Greed. As you saw, that big damage came out there. If you have another character you can use instead of this character back here, of course, do, that can hit the front. Like if you did pull for Dahlia, you could put her back here. You could put her at the front looking across. Okay, it's just, I kind of want like the shield one. But we took the burn. We'll see if we can get enough damage off here. It might be tough. The next mage is coming out. Might one-shot my character on the right-hand side, I feel. Oh, she took quite a bit of damage there. And now my character in the back is coming into play because they're getting through. Give me the shields. Attack interval is probably what we're going to go with. We'll go attack interval reduction. So lots of quick attacks hopefully now. And you can see when we get some burning off, sometimes it can affect the actual boss. He can get a debuff as well. I'm seeing that happen. There you go. So I'll just pause it. It says deals 20% continuous magic damage per second. Burning effects from different sources can coexist. So he's taking the burning damage directly. It isn't going on to these enemies as well. So it's just going to be consistently doing damage to him, which is good. You can see there's no enemies alive, but he had burning still. Give me something to keep me alive. Everything's a damage multiplier. No. Burning. Burning. Poison. I think we'll do vulnerability. But we only need to get 1 more million. And we should be okay. If people start dying, the first person that dies, just put down Laurel straight away, and then like put down Dolores somewhere where she can buff multiple people. And we did it. We got over 16 million. I don't think this team's gonna get 40 somehow. The right hand side you can see was just getting wrecked, but it's still going. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Are we gonna finally get? No, we're not gonna get the one we need. We need something that keeps me alive. The one that's really good is the gold one that gives you shield based on how much HP you've got, like 40% of your current HP shield as a shield for 20 seconds, and then it's down for 10 seconds and then comes up again. That's really, really good. I guess we'll do this, even though we haven't got any. No, these guys are going to get through most likely. They'll take decent damage from AI's things. And she'll do some decent damage to them, maybe.
They'll be dead.
I think they're gonna, yeah. That's it. Not too bad though. 20 mil, just with epics. I'll show you their gear. It is half decent gear. You will need some reasonably decent gear, but it isn't my best. There's only so bad gear I could use. If we just go into my team. So this is like probably the best that I had, and it was just going for a bit of attack speed and trying to get crit damage up a little bit. I gave her just a normal Idril's Gaze. You could probably give her more HP base gear because she's near the front of the portal. You need to, keep her alive. AI just had this set pretty decent. Not over 150% crit is where it starts to get into the good range. Pretty good set though, but not my best. If I was to swap it with my best, for instance, the one that is on... Who's got my best one? Kamet, you can see it goes up by another 120% crit damage. So like I can get way more crit damage than I've got right now. The artifact was an unfortunate skull, but just tier 1, so it's just getting the base buff. She was taking more damage, so that was probably not a smart idea. I could have probably used something else, like if you've got a tier 1 one of these, like it was on a character that I wasn't even using, so it probably is the better way to do it. And then this guy, he didn't. Okay, he just had more defensive set. I think this is basically what I use when I use him as a tank in GR2. And he has a Norse Glory, which is good. Just gives out shields when he heals. And Rourke is just kind of weird. I don't have the proper gear for him yet, but like if you have HP main stat, which is nice, just lots of HP, gets him more damage. He's just got range. Volker in his spot's good too. Volker and him in the same spot. Okay, so I didn't actually say this at the time, but I'm like putting this in with the edit. I have used this artifact Iosin, which is actually pretty good. It increases AoE damage by 20%, and then if he gets a takedown, it gets a further 10% buff. There's not many items you can use on Rourke. Like, if he did have someone adjacent, you'd think maybe you could use this, but you can't because it increases his attack and his damage scales off of HP. There might be some HP-based item in here. I think there's one that like increases his HP by 10% or something. That maybe is going to be half decent. But I don't think there's too many other things. A lot of things increase attack rather than damage. This one does do damage, but you're taking damage so regularly that Frigid Flame won't work. His range isn't massive, so Realm Tear won't really work that well. And I mean, maybe you can do a Wailing Skull. Wailing Skull on Rourke on this, I don't know. I don't think people would necessarily have a Wailing Skull and not have a good character they could use instead of him. But if you weren't in that position, that could potentially work instead. We have this character. I didn't really use her. She's just got some like decent-ish gear on. She didn't come into much use. There's not too many. I should have used Volker instead, but I wanted to use it purely on epics, and I know someone will be like, but Volker's not an epic, but she is very accessible though, right? And then you've got this character here. Again, only 95% crit rates, crit damage, so nothing too crazy. She has got a very good tier of Twilight though, and I guess this is probably the hardest thing to come by, giving her quite a boost. But she has worse gear than I did, and she's probably the better damage dealer, so it was just kind of evening them out a little bit. Hollow has Invigoration. She didn't have an artifact apparently. But if I had an artifact on her, maybe I could give her Euphoric Orb or something like that, or maybe another one of the shields, maybe another one of the Norse Glory, just to give the shields to the people that need it, basically, as they start getting nuked. And then Greed is in just really quick attack gear. Like, he's in Rage Regen gear on the right-hand side. He's in the Mana Spring, decent-ish attack speed. And he's got a Samsara as well, so he's just doing his ultimate as often as possible. He debuffs him at the portal. He is Awakened 5, and when you get him to Awaken 5, when he does his ultimate, the Purgatory thing, it does the 2 special effects at the same time. It slows him and he does damage, but he does them both at the same time. That is quite important. Just for Greed in general, he's one of the better characters to try and get to A5. He is quite a rare character. Slowing them with every ultimate is really, really, really good. And I think that was it. I did just have Laurel at the end. She just had Invigoration just to invigorate someone at the beginning. So that's it, just for a little starter guide for this new event. Hopefully it's going to be useful for you to get up into the slightly higher rewards. 8k shouldn't be too much of a problem if you manage to build a decent team like I did with those epics. Obviously you can replace those epics with some decent legendaries you've got. Just try and do it like for like with what I did. The effect-based character Esme replaced with an effect-based character like Dahlia. The AoE mage with an AoE mage. You can do like single target character as well. I have like Silas. I'll just show you my normal team. This is my normal team, and I have Kama in one of the AoE mage spots instead of instead of Iona, and I just have Silas in the other spot. And then I have Greed up front again, and I have Dahlia up front. Pretty much the same sort of scenario. I have Rourke's position taken from Arrogance, and behind Arrogance I have Volker just to support if they get too close to him. It's pretty much as simple as that. And then I have the Invigorators and so on and so forth. So hopefully you can get some nice big scores now, get some of those extra rewards, get your stuff in the redeem shop. Obviously you can go with whatever you want to go with. I went with the shards first. I'm actually going to go with the actual borders second. I really like borders, and the games I played in the past, they don't have borders, so I'm going to take the border. Then I'll probably take the bubble, even though I can only use one bubble, and I can only use one border. It's just nice to have them. They're kind of collector's pieces. And also, if this event comes around again, because like we saw with the previous event, the border I would have already got. So next time around, I can actually get more rewards elsewhere. And that'll be hopefully better rewards. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. Thank you very much for tuning into my video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.